are discriminated against. Because of that, we interpret that as a violation because you believe if you believe you're a woman, then you are a part of a protected class. That's what they're implying here. Hasn't been challenged legally because it's not in writing in the law, in the Civil Rights Act. But that's the interpretation. Well, not anymore. Be a part of the conversation by calling the Shell Rotella hotline at 866-907-3339. Red Eye Radio and Shell Rotella. What matters is inside.
Join the Wreaths Across America Honor Fleet. Drivers throughout the country transport the gift of America's respect. Citizens are sponsoring balsam fir veterans wreaths to remember our fallen service members, honor those who currently serve, and teach younger generations the value of freedom. Lanes are still available to haul veterans wreaths, especially on the West Coast, Colorado, and Florida. Join the Wreaths Across America Honor Fleet now. Visit trucking.wreathsacrossamerica.org.
It is one of the most special times of the year for family gatherings and moments of gratitude and reflection. This Thanksgiving, as we show appreciation for the meals, friends, and family, the fuel that gets us to our destination, and all the things that we're so grateful for, let's not forget those who deliver the items that make those special moments happen. Truck drivers. This holiday, we salute all of the truck drivers who make Thanksgiving and every day happen by filling our lives with the goods we need. This has been brought to you by Trucking Moves America Forward.
Hey truckers, how do you stay entertained at the end of a long drive? Me, I like to unwind at the end of the day with live HD TV in my cab. And with Dish portable satellite antennas, it's easier than ever. Check it out at dishformytruck.com and get all the TV you love to watch at home in the comfort of your cab. With coast-to-coast service, Dish is perfect for fleets too. For more info, visit dishformytruck.com or call 1-833-TRUCK-TV. That's 1-833-878-2588. Restrictions apply.
Drew Horton is a trucking legend. He goes by the CD handle Rusty Nail and hauls 80,000 pounds of responsibility. Drew won't let road gators mess with his mojo because he's protected by Progressive Commercial, where he can get rental coverage to keep him on the road if he has a claim. Yes, trucking is in his blood, along with shoe fly pie and turkey jerky.
Find out what makes Progressive the #1 insurer of trucking legends across America. Visit ProgressiveCommercial.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, #1 truck insurer from SNL Financial's 2014 National Written Premium data.
Did you know that studies have shown that almost 2.5 million truck drivers in the U.S. have one or more serious health problems such as obesity, diabetes, heart disease, even sleep disorders? And our truck drivers lack the same access to health that other Americans enjoy. The unfortunate result of these circumstances is that drivers are often unable to get treatment in the early stages of disease. Minor illnesses become severe, leading to hospitalization and disability. The driver then may lose their CDL and become unable to work. This creates a downward spiral that leads to extreme financial hardship and possible unemployment. Go to truckersfund.org today and learn more about how you can contribute. If you or someone inside the trucking industry may be in need, learn how SCF can help. We encourage you to educate yourself and peers on the St. Christopher's Truckers Fund today. Donate if you can. You never know when you may need some help too. That's truckersfund.org. Let's band together for a better tomorrow.
News. Talk. Evolve. KABC. Los Angeles. Orange County. A Cumulus station.
KABC News is live and local at 11 o'clock. I'm Jeff Whittle, and Malibu residents who are still reeling from the Woolsey fire are now preparing for rain. This homeowner was filling sandbags today, even though her house was destroyed by the wildfire.
We're told that we have to protect the whatever's there, the burn, from being covered by the mud.
Firefighters still working to fully contain the Woolsey fire, but rain predicted in the forecast for Wednesday and Thanksgiving. That could trigger mudslides in the steep terrain that recently burned. Hundreds of Mexicans staged a protest today in Tijuana to oppose the Central American migrants who've arrived in the border city seeking asylum in the United States. Now, that audio posted on the Los Angeles Times website. The San Ysidro port of entry was closed for a while today, so U.S. immigration agents could fortify the border crossing amid rumors that the migrants were planning to storm the border. A Los Angeles-based actress has filed a request for a domestic violence restraining order against Los Angeles attorney Michael Avenatti. Avenatti was arrested last week on suspicion of domestic violence. The actress who requested the restraining order is identified as Morelli Miniuti. Avenatti has been representing porn actress Stormy Daniels in her lawsuit against President Donald Trump. And a Colorado man who strangled his pregnant wife and suffocated their 2 young daughters, Christopher Watts, was sentenced today to life in prison without a parole as part of a plea deal that spared him from the death penalty. Watts, who pleaded guilty 2 weeks ago, did not speak at today's sentencing hearing. Prosecutors say he wanted to escape his marriage and growing family. KABC News Time is 11:02 with dependable traffic when you need it the most.
Freeway speeds overall good, but we've got a pretty big backup on this northbound side of the Golden State Freeway. Northbound 5 before Calgrove, Big Rig overturned, and the 4 left lanes of traffic remain blocked. Traffic stop and go from before the 210. You can take the 14 north exit Newhall north to Lyons. Use Lyons to get back to the 5. New Sigalert and Diamond Bar 60 east at Phillips Ranch Road. Big Rig on its side. Crews have got the right lane of traffic blocked. And in Ontario, 15 north after the 60, a crash in the middle lane of traffic. Also Anaheim Hills, 91 westbound just before the 241. We had a crash there that's been moved to the right shoulder. That's going to slow you down from Cole Canyon. In the City of Industry, we've got a big problem on the 60. East 60 after Azusa Avenue. Carpool lane is blocked with a 3-car wreck. And the far right lane blocked, so traffic squeezing through the middle. And this is backing things up right now to Hacienda Boulevard. KABC has dependable traffic when you need it most. I'm Cindy Berkey, Talk Radio 790 KABC.
Behind the Mic, furnished by Dalius Media.
Welcome on inside. Behind the Mic is live on Talk Radio 790 KABC. Brad Dallas along with Keith Jackson coming to you on this Monday night, November the 19th, 2018. Call in at 1-800-222-5222. It's 1-800-222-5222. Follow us across social media at BTM with Brad. On Instagram, check us out. Link in the bio there for our live online stream. Currently streaming live video-wise on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. Great stuff all around. Plenty of chances to catch the program on so many different platforms. Great to have you aboard tonight. So much to get into. A wild Monday night game, one for the ages over at the Coliseum. Rams come out on top 54-51. You talk about fireworks. This game had it and then some. It's the first time in NFL history both teams scored 50 points. I mean, that's amazing. That's unbelievable. It's never happened before. So this one obviously had just about everything, even a little bit of defense. There was even a little bit of defense tonight as well.
Sorta.
It was there. Just better offense, in my opinion. So we have plenty to get to on that in just a second. We're going to go through, do a complete recap of the NFL Week 11, all the games from yesterday. And we'll also get into the MVP race right now, because who's kind of the leader in the clubhouse, per se, who's maybe a dark horse, someone to watch here down the stretch. We'll talk about that coming up. And, of course, we'll have to get into USC's meltdown on Saturday over at the Rose Bowl at the hands of UCLA, because Joshua Kelly, I talked about it on Friday night. UCLA can run the football, and USC has struggled mightily all year long trying to stop the run. And basically the wheels came off the bus on Saturday, and it was brutal to watch. What does that mean for USC? One game left. Obviously, Notre Dame this week. We know that's going to essentially be a coronation for the Irish as they head off into the college football playoff in all likelihood. But what does it mean also for Clay Helton as well? Big week for him. So far today, he says everything is status quo. For now, at least, but all eyes, of course, are on athletic director Lynn Swann at this point, because at this point, as I'll kind of give you my thoughts on this later tonight, but at this point, there's no way they can ignore almost somewhat of a perfect storm of a disaster of a season for USC has led to this point where Clay Helton seems to be on the hottest of hot seats right now in college football. So we'll get into that later on. But we got to begin here, obviously, at the top with what we all just witnessed on Monday Night Football. Again, 54-51, Rams come out on top in a game that was highly anticipated, probably easily the most highly anticipated Monday Night Football game of the season. We all know the story. It was supposed to be in Mexico City. It got moved because the field was in horrendous condition, so it turns into a home game for the Rams. Chiefs on the road. Once again, this game kind of played out similar to the Sunday night game in Foxborough earlier this year when the Chiefs got down in that game. They made a comeback similar to tonight. They got down 13-0. They came back. And just once again, you can see that although the Chiefs lost this game tonight, man, unless there's some kind of injuries or they're just somewhat flat or off, I mean, it is going to take an absolute firestorm of an offensive explosion like the Rams had tonight to be able to knock off this Chiefs team. Because you can see not only can they score fast, no one can defend Tyreek Hill. Travis Kelce is a beast. And Patrick Mahomes is the real deal. Now, he had a couple interceptions tonight. And look, I know in the press conference, in the locker room, some guys were not taking too kindly to the media blaming Mahomes for this loss, and rightfully so. I mean, he played a great game, couple of mistakes here and there, but for the most part, this guy is the real deal. I think however you slice it, put on a show tonight, but so did Jared Goff. And look, in these type of games, you need your best players to step up. The Rams clearly did that. That's why they came out on top.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he did step up. He played a great game. But, there was key moments in this game I looked at and I watched. It was before the half. It was a minute 43 left going into the half. And I wanted to see the Kansas City Chiefs needed a drive. They needed to score, I believe. I felt they needed to score at this situation going into the half to tie the game up. And he drove that ball down 69 yards for a touchdown, which was a great – when I look at in terms of elite players, I'm like, can he do this in that amount of time? Can he drive them down? They need to score right now to get that momentum shift, and he did that. That was exceptionally well. I like the way he did that. That was a big moment. The next moment I looked at was, look, he had a chance at the minute 37 mark, I believe, the minute 47 mark going into the second half, and they needed to score. They got a 3. They didn't get it. But with 50 seconds left on the clock, he had a chance to drive it 90 yards. It was 90 yards down the way. They only down 3. They need to get in field goal position. He drove the ball all the way down. I mean, he drove it down, but I think he panicked those last couple of seconds in terms of maybe it was like, because I think the Rams got the ball back with 14 seconds left on the clock after the pick. And so I didn't think that he needed to go it looked like he was trying to go all in one shot because that got caught at like the 20-yard line instead of just going for that. Look, those short passes, fine, get to the line, spike the ball down, time management, whatever. We're going to get the ball, just get in field goal position and put it in my kicker's hands. So I think right there, that's to me where I think youth kicks in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the youth and experience.
Yeah. I think the youth and experience kicks in. Is he a great player within himself? Absolutely. Will he go down as one of the best quarterbacks? I don't know. We can't give him that yet. But what I'm saying is the future of the NFL, what we witnessed tonight, was 2 quarterbacks who are the future of the NFL, who are going to be the face of the NFL. And they both had exceptional games. They both threw over 200 yards apiece. Clearly over that.
And Mahomes had the 6 touchdowns. It's a Monday Night Football record. My biggest thing looking forward here down the right, you're right, Keith. I mean, these 2 guys, Goff, Mahomes, these 2 style offenses are definitely the future of the league. Defensive coordinators there's going to be a whole lot of sleepless nights trying to slow down these type of guys.
And I'm going to say this. I mean, defensively, when I look at teams that are going to make a run in the Super Bowl, get to the Super Bowl, I strongly believe this. Defense wins championships. That's what it's about. It's not offensively. It's defense. Defensively, you win championships. Down the stretch, Rams got to stop to put that team over the hump to win the game. That's what it came down. It came from defense. Matter of fact, they scored 2 defensive plays.
Yeah.
And Aaron Donald, what a game he played. But what I'm saying is defense wins championships. Defense wins games. And when they get into the playoffs, both these teams, when they get into the playoffs, They got to be able to stop. I don't care how powerful offensively they are. The Rams, the Saints, the Chiefs, the Patriots, on forward. I don't care how powerful you are. If you don't have defense, you're not going to win the game in the playoffs. You got to have stops. So I think what you're going to have to see is Andy Reid, McVay, Belichick, and also and help me out, Saints.
Sean
Payton. They got to really focus on their defensive team, because the offense is there. The offense is always going to be there. But the defense, they need to really hone in and focus on that and key on that because, man, to me, that's the chink in the armor for any of the other teams to try to upset you is, if we can get a 3 and out, if we can get a stop, because to be honest with you, with Kansas City, there's only 2 guys that were killing you. Kelsey and
Hill.
Hill killed you.
He's killed everyone.
He's killed everyone. But there's going to come a time where somebody's going to figure it out. Let me figure something. Let me try to double up on this guy. Let me zone him.
Well, to your point, Keith, there's been teams over the years who have been, take the Broncos, for example, back in when they lost to Seattle in the Super Bowl. One of the best offenses in the history of the league, right? People thought they were going to just trounce the Seahawks. Mm-hmm. Defense showed through that day,
exactly,
as it usually always does.
And that's all it takes, Brad.
Yep.
It's one week where defense shows up, and that can happen. So to your point, that's what I'm talking about in terms of these teams that are playing right now. Great offense, but there's no defense. There's a big problem with that, and the
Rams played some defense today.
They did, but again, that's how they got their stop, and that's how they won.
Right, and exactly that's what it's going to take.
And as a coach, you got to look at this. Man, we put up 54 points. Man, we put up 51 points. As a coach, you're like, where is the defense at?
Well, that's the problem. I'm not sure Kansas City has an answer for that.
Uh-huh.
Their defense kind of is what it is, I think.
I'm a little concerned with the Rams' defense, though. Let me tell you why. You had Aaron Donald. I was sitting here and I was watching the game, and I was like, where's Ndamukong Suh at the whole time? You pay this guy all this money. Where is he at?
Yeah, he somewhat disappears in big games.
Totally
disappears. It goes under the radar because they won this game and how crazy scoring it was.
I keyed on that. I wrote that down. I said, Ndamukong Suh needs to show up.
It's not getting past you, that's for sure.
No. I look at everything, and I'm like, Aaron Donald showed up. Ndamukong Suh, you got to show up, man. You getting all this big money. They pay all this big money for you. You got to show up, man.
To be fair, he had one play in the first half. Maybe it was the first quarter where basically he forced a hold on the offensive line of Kansas City. It was essentially as good as a sack. So he did get some pressure tonight, but I get what you're saying. For what they're paying him, I want a little bit more.
Aaron Donald, he earned his money tonight.
He did.
He earned his money tonight. He had some big plays. He looked like Khalil Mack out there, man.
Yeah.
That's a reincarnation of Khalil Mack right there. So, I love the way I love this game. This game was a great offensive game. We both called it that would be a high-scoring game. I believe I said 38, 30, 31, 35 or something like that, my prediction. Yours was a high-scoring game as well. And the fans, they definitely got a treat tonight, and they're going to be talking about this all week.
Yes, they did. So, I didn't think – who knew they were going for 50? You know what I mean?
nobody.
54, 51, that's incredible. It's college football.
Yeah.
We come to expect that sometimes in college football. We've never seen it in the NFL. We've never seen 54, 51. So just an unbelievable game overall. So many things to, pick apart. And really just the biggest is that obviously right now the Rams continue to, with that win, they continue to hold the number 1 seed in the NFC, which I believe, Keith, is absolutely critical if this team wants to get to Atlanta. Yeah. Absolutely critical that they hold on to it because I don't think anyone's going into the Dome and winning in New Orleans based off of what we saw yesterday, which we're going to get into after the break because the Saints right now are absolutely rolling down in the Big Easy. So great win tonight for the Rams. Chiefs, second loss of the season. They dropped to 9-2. Again, with that loss, now it gets a little bit more interesting in the AFC playoff picture. We can get into that after the break as well. Chargers fall, as we talked about there at the top, to the Broncos yesterday. Another disappointing loss for Charger fans. We'll get into that. We'll cover it all. We'll completely recap NFL Week 11 action coming up on the other side. It's Behind the Mic live here on KABC Radio.
Is your Self-pulled in different directions? Fight fatigue and occasional stress with Quantum Nutrition Lab's Max Stress B. This B vitamin-rich formula delivers advanced support for mood balance and energy levels, as well as the liver, brain, immune system, cardiovascular system, and adrenal glands. Buy 2 bottles, get the third one free. Call 888-588-7578. 888-588-7578. Or visit us online at qnlabs.com. That's QNLABS.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Marshall, PhD, host of Healthline. Tune in to get your questions answered and hear the latest breakthrough information for you and your family. Our product line, Quantum Nutrition Labs, delivers what others only promise, nutrition that really works.
Hi, it's Alan Gervey.
And I'm Carrie Kasem.
Need some legal, moral, or just common sense advice?
Then tune in to Gervey's Law Saturdays at 2 when we open up the discussion and tackle difficult issues in law and life.
That's right. You've heard of Murphy's Law, but have you heard of Gervey's Law? Gervey's Law is that anything that can go wrong can also go right. And we go at it with some of the greatest legal minds in the country.
It's the intersection of law and life. Don't miss it Saturdays at 2 right here on Talk Radio 790 KABC.
How about a store that has farmers market freshness, thousands of club sizes, plus everyday groceries and party supplies, where prices are up to 25% lower than supermarkets? That's Smart and Final. Guaranteed high-quality foods, organics, local products, and really cool stuff you can't find anywhere else. It's not a supermarket. It's Smart and Final. Now at Smart & Final, get a First Street Young frozen turkey from 10 to 22 pounds for 39 cents a pound, limit 1.
I'm a real person, real voice, and a real face. Even though you can't see it because, radio invisibility. You know what else is super duper real? Geico Local Offices. A Geico Local agent could tailor fit a policy to you, which could save you hundreds on your car insurance. All because Geico Local agents keep it real, with real savings and real service. Really.
And if you're looking for more ways to save, your local Geico agent could help with your homeowners, condo, and renter's insurance too. Stop by or give them a call today.
You're listening to Behind the Mic with Brad Delius.
Welcome back inside Behind the Mic, live here on KABC Radio. Great to have you on board. Whole bunch of NFL action breaking down here on the program tonight. Of course, the game we just saw, Rams taking down the Chiefs 54-51. Chargers falling yesterday to the Broncos over at the StubHub Center. And again, Keith, this is what I've been talking about the last couple of weeks here with the Chargers team. It looks like they get close. You start to see the team maybe potentially take a turn for the better. And then they just give up a game in which they should have won to allow a Broncos team that's under 500. Case Keenum has been up and down at best this year. Keenum drives him down the field in a position to set up the game-winning field goal yesterday, and that's exactly what they do. Anthony Lynn calls timeout there towards the end to try and ice him. Doesn't matter. They still knock it through, and the Broncos beat the Chargers. And, again, this is why I don't think the Chargers are an elite team in the AFC at this point, and I don't think they're really going to be able to contend for anything. Look, obviously we're winning the division. Yeah, they're still within striking distance, but does anyone really think they're going to be able to go in Kansas City at Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs in a couple weeks? I can't envision that happening at this point in time. So it's just a really tough loss, and especially when you got Joey Bosa back, you were feeling pretty good about what you had, getting guys healthy into yesterday's game. And but at the end of the day, they have these self-destructive tendencies. And it's really tough because it's right there for the taking for them right now to make some noise in the AFC. But again, they can kind of continue to be their worst enemy.
Yeah, they're the worst enemy, but I'm not going to say that they're not elite because, look, they're 7-3 right now, and that's pretty much where every other team is right now, except for pretty much the top teams, except for
Baltimore is 5-5. They're the 6th seed at the moment.
Yeah, but then you have the
everyone
Patriots
else is 7-3 or better. To your point there,
you got Patriots at 7-3. You have them that are 7-3. So you have some team. Look, they're 7-3. They dropped one that they should have known they should have won, but. There's many a games that we look at their inconsistency. I mean, look, the Patriots, same thing. They're inconsistent too right now. They lost to the Titans. They got killed by the Titans.
And then Tennessee turns to the next week and they get killed by Indy.
Yeah, so
it's all backwards.
It's all backwards. It does happen. And this things will happen to good teams. Is can be able to sustain, keep that ball rolling when they're playing and they're doing well. So. I'm not going to really count them out. I'm still saying you got to look over your shoulders at them and you got to watch them. And look, they got another game coming up. It'll be interesting because, look, they may drop the Broncos, but then they may play the Chiefs, and they may beat the Chiefs. You never know, right? I mean, you just don't know. They got the Steelers coming up. They got the Cardinals first, and they got the Steelers. And so, that's going to be an interesting game within itself because the Steelers are starting to get themselves back together, and they're starting to roll again.
Unbelievable comeback against the Jags.
Yeah, they got that. They have that. The thing was with the Steelers is the Le'Veon Bell situation. They kind of kicked that back in the back burner, and now they're just focusing in on playing, and they're doing a great job. But again, the Steelers be the Steelers. For the Steelers, it's always one big play that gets them over the hump and gets the momentum going. That big bomb Ben Roethlisberger threw to Antonio Brown, that 60-yarder. Yeah. And how many times have we seen that happen? Many a times.
Oh, sometimes we're shocked when it doesn't happen.
Yeah, and so it happened, and boom, there you go. Then they start rolling, and then they just they come back and beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. And there's something to say about that because it's like, man, Jacksonville at that game, I thought, okay, Jacksonville's starting to do it with their defense again. Jalen Ramsey had a pick. They had a couple sacks. And then all of a sudden, a debacle happens.
Literally.
They fall through. So, this is going to be it's a great race in the AFC. It's interesting. I want to see how close the Chargers can get to Kansas City. But look, Kansas City's not going to lose too many games coming up. Seattle, I'm penciling them in, and I'm penciling, of course, the Chargers in to see if they can do something right there. But other than that, man, I'm expecting them to take the first number one seed in the AFC.
At this point, I am too. I mean, they do play Baltimore. That's in Arrowhead, though. You mentioned the Seattle game towards the end of the regular season in Seattle. That would be the one for me. I can't. I don't think they're going to lose at home, and that includes the Chargers game. I think they'll beat the Chargers. 2 layups with the Raiders, obviously, here down the stretch. So, yeah, it just comes down for me to that game at Seattle. That could potentially trip them up. But, look, I mean, they have such an advantage playing at home that you would think that there's just no way they're going to let one slip through the cracks here down the stretch, especially with the way they've lost both games this year, both winnable games, both games they scored a whole bunch of points. It's hard to imagine them losing too many games. So, yeah, it's going to be fascinating because I think you have a lot of teams obviously starting to heat up right now. Obviously, we know what the Chiefs are. Pittsburgh, we just talked about there before, they're playing a lot better. How great is that Pittsburgh-New England game going to be coming up in Week 15 at Heinz Field? That seems to always have big-time playoff implications at the end of the regular season. So I think people are looking forward to that. New England obviously on a bye this week, and we talked about coming off of that brutal loss to the Titans last week. So you figure they're going to be coming out trying to get things back on track this coming week. And, yeah, I just kind of look at schedule-wise for these teams down the stretch. I think that's a big thing you have to take into consideration with the teams we mentioned there, teams who are vying for that final playoff spot. It's going to be wild here down the stretch because right now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams at 5-5 at the moment who are vying for that final 6th playoff spot in the AFC. Baltimore currently occupying it based off of tie-breaking procedures, obviously. But that's going to be fascinating because you have so many different teams, and especially the Colts. I think the Colts are playing better than at least I thought. I didn't think the Colts would be in a position to maybe make the playoffs here, especially how they looked in weeks 1 and 2. So I think you have to give them a lot of credit. Andrew Luck, Frank Reich, that whole team right now. Look, all right, they just blew out the Titans, who you said before. Titans, of course, blew out the Patriots last week. So it's so week to week right now.
And also, you look at it in the NFC East side. On the NFC East,
division.
What that division right there? You're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, who's been playing horrible, has an absolute clear shot of actually taking that conference now. If you look at it,
how about the Redskins now losing Alex Smith?
Yeah, losing Alex Smith, and then there are reports they're going to sign Mark Sanchez as their quarterback and coming in, starting him. And you don't know what that's going to be about. But to me right now, I mean, we've been jumping on the Dallas Cowboys for a minute. Dallas Cowboys are starting to roll. They look like they have a clear shot. Them and the Eagles really have the top three teams in that team. Let's just say what it is. Washington, Dallas, and Philadelphia has a clear shot of winning that division. It's up in the air with those three teams. I'm sorry. I can't see the New York Giants. Sorry, Giants fans. I can't see you winning 8 straight. I'm just cannot see that happening.
Can't see. That one's a little far-fetched, but you're right. Look, whoever wins the NFC East is going to be one and done because of how good they're easily going to be the weakest team out of everyone in the NFC, in my opinion. You go down the list right now. Rams, Saints. You have the Vikings in there, the Bears, the Panthers, who I believe to me, the Panthers are very similar to the Chargers right now. Can't trust them in big-time spots.
Yeah.
That was a bad loss yesterday to the Lions. Yeah. Bad loss. And if I'm Ron Rivera, why am I going for 2? Why am I going for 2? I have Cam Newton.
Yeah.
I can go to overtime. I'll take my chances in overtime against the Detroit Lions. I'm not going to go for 2 there and make that the last play of the game, all or for nothing. No, I'm not doing that. So I thought that was a horrible loss yesterday for Carolina. I do not think they're legit in the NFC. Right now, I think you're really looking at 4 teams in the NFC. 4 teams who are pretty good for the most part. I think the Rams, Saints, and the Bears at this point are really good, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think the Bears are for real. What they did last night to the Vikings, that defense is great. That's probably the best defense right now in the NFL.
Trubisky and his running, and he's making plays on his feet. And that's what the problem is what's keeping a lot of defenses on their heels, is the fact that he gives a lot of defensive fits by him using his feet to run and making plays. Now, he makes bad decisions sometimes. That's what he does. But, he makes a lot more positive plays than negative plays. So that's what I noticed with him. And, again, he's that type of guy where he's still by the book and he says the plays run this way. And he will. And what I mean by more positive than negative, his negative plays are because he's forcing the passes to receivers that he knows that's where the ball is supposed to go to, even if they're in double coverage.
Yep.
And he's got to fix that. And again, I think that just takes a little bit more time. But
it does.
Yeah, he's going to be he's going to be pretty good. And you know what? And then you got to look at who are postseason players. That's what I want to see. The Mahomes, I'm interested to see. I think Goff and Mahomes already. I think they're going to be postseason players. But postseason players at home, are they postseason players on the road? I don't know. We have to find that out right now.
And I think we've talked about that a bit here recently. How home field advantage might matter more so this year than in recent years.
Yes,
for a lot of different teams.
For those teams especially, yes. I think Mahomes and Goff need home field advantage. They cannot go on the road, man.
I think especially for Mahomes, because that defense is more or less likely to come up with a big stop. I think the Rams are better equipped to win on the road, especially with Todd Gurley, your bell cow back there. So I'd rather actually see the Rams. I think they're more so equipped to do that on the road. The Chiefs, absolutely right. I mean, Kansas City has a track record historically. It has nothing to do with this team this year, but historically they have even struggled at Arrowhead in the playoffs in the past.
Yeah.
Just go back to a couple years ago against Pittsburgh when they won like 17-15, something like that. So, right, even with that, it's no guarantee if the Chiefs get home field. But you're right. Kansas City absolutely needs it, I think. It's going to be really tough for them to go on the road, you would think, even with the ability to score all this points. So, yeah, fascinating stuff coming up down the stretch here. Coming up here tonight on Behind the Mic, we'll tell you who's looking pretty good right now in the MVP race as things kind of go down the stretch a bit. We'll also get into later on the latest with the USC Clay Helton saga and more. Behind the Mic here rolls along on KABC Radio.
KABC News is live and local at 11:30. I'm Jeff Whittle. An elementary school principal has been charged with murder for allegedly driving drunk and killing a woman in a head-on crash in Palmdale last week. Mary Krupp of Pear Blossom, the principal of Enterprise Elementary School in Lancaster, is scheduled to be arraigned tomorrow for the death of 29-year-old Jessica Ordaz of Lancaster. A Ventura County man suing Southern California Edison for its alleged role in sparking the deadly Woolsey fire. The suit alleges the blaze ignited under the Edison-owned power lines at Rocketdyne's facility near Simi Valley. The man who filed the lawsuit lost his home to the wildfire, which has destroyed about 1,500 homes. Stocks tanked today on Wall Street. The Dow dropped 395 points. The S&P 500 fell 45. The Nasdaq plunged 219 points, losing 3%. KABC News Time, 11:31 with dependable traffic when you need it the most.
Well, freeway speed's overall good. We're still working on this SIG alert. Now, it is in the clearing stages, but lanes are still blocked. Northbound Golden State Freeway before Cal Grove, it's flipped over Big Rig and the 4 left lanes taken away. You're backed up from the 210. And as a matter of fact, if you're heading northbound, people already getting the jump on the holiday traffic, and you're going to be on the brakes starting around Roxford Street. And your delays are going to stay heavy all the way to Templin Highway. Obviously, there's a big backup approaching Cal Grove, but after that, there really isn't much relief. On the 60, eastbound 60 in Whittier, 60 east at Azusa Avenue. Carpool and far right lane of traffic are blocked with a wreck. That's backing you up to 7th. KABC has dependable traffic when you need it most. I'm Cindy Berkey, Talk Radio 790, KABC.
I am Ken Tyler, president of Right Choice Mortgage. As a self-employed person, I remember how frustrated I was just trying to get a mortgage for our own home. And it was virtually impossible to get cash out of our investment property. So we created loan programs just for people like you and I. Our self-employed mortgage program doesn't require tax returns. It's not hard money. Rates are starting in the 4s. Also to get cash out on your investment properties, no matter how many you own, with no limit to the cash in hand. So if you're a landlord, you can get cash out up to 75% loan to value on all the properties you own. It's real simple. Rent has to cover expenses. A 1-for-1 debt coverage. That's it, even if you're self-employed. No tax returns or P&Ls, and you can even use the cash out for reserves. Call now at 833-886-3863. 833-886-3863. Landlords, here's your chance to cash out and buy more properties, or just renovate the ones you already have, even if you're self-employed. Call today and find out how at 833-886-3863. 833-886-3863.
Licensed by the BRE 019-43736. NMLS 1132583.
The wait is finally over. Dell's biggest Black Friday ever is on. Save up to 50% on Black Friday deals, plus get free shipping on everything. With massive deals on Dell computers with 8th Gen Intel Core processors, the hottest gaming gear, and savings on top brand electronics like Samsung TVs, it's the one sale of the year you don't want to miss. Just call 800-BUY-DELL or visit Dell.com/Black Friday. Quantities are limited. Call 800-BUY-DELL for more Black Friday deals.
Hey, if you're a busy mom on the go like me, dropping the kids off at school, going grocery shopping, and then going to work, who's got time for car maintenance? Hey, it's Jillian, and thankfully, I found Valvoline Instant Oil Change. These guys are quick, convenient. They make vehicle maintenance super easy for busy people like you and moms like me. Valvoline Instant Oil Change is simple. It's a drive-through oil change. I didn't even have to get out of my car. They perform vehicle maintenance on all kinds of cars, domestic and foreign, including Mercedes-Benz, BMWs, and Lexus, plus diesel and hybrid models. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. You drive up, you drive in, and then you drive out with a complete oil change in 15 minutes or less. No appointment needed. It's so quick, you don't even get out of your car. I'm telling you, it's my new favorite thing. You're never very far from Valvoline Instant Oil Change. So go to SoCalOilChange.com for locations, coupons, and a list of services. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. You drive up, you drive in, and you drive out in 15 minutes or less. You gotta love that. Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
This is Behind the Mic with Brad Dalius.
.1134 here on KABC Radio, Behind the Mic, as we roll along. Great to have you aboard. One player, in my opinion, separated himself from the competition yesterday as far as the MVP race goes, and in my eyes is a clear favorite as we come down the stretch, and that would be Drew Brees. Wow. The guy is playing phenomenal, probably the best season of his career.
Yeah, everybody's saying
point.
that, you know.
He's unstoppable, Keith. It doesn't even matter at this point who you put out there. the ball's going to be there. They're going to catch. I mean, they're going for it on fourth down. I mean, he's throwing darts, dropping dimes. That was quarterback play at its finest yesterday. And although I still don't believe the Eagles are that bad. But I think it was more. The Eagles have problems, no doubt. But maybe the Saints just made them look like they were extra bad yesterday because they just are absolutely rolling right now. Maybe the best since Drew Brees and Sean Payton have been down there. To be honest, I mean, it reminds maybe people a lot of the Super Bowl year when they started really hot and they put up similar type of things. But right now, they look to me they've taken it a step beyond that. I mean, they are just so dominant, and I just don't know if the Rams, for example. Now, I just said before they're well equipped to win on the road. However, the caveat would be if they have to go to New Orleans again. Yeah. Because I don't think anyone's winning there. That's why it's imperative that they get home field because not that they can't win on the road, but more so no one can win in New Orleans right now.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with a defensive player this week that I think is the MVP, and that's got to be Khalil Mack, man. I'm sorry. Khalil Mack has – when I look at MVP, I look at someone that's turned the whole franchise around in the matter of his presence, and he has done that from the jump.
He's been great.
When
There's
hurt,
no doubt.
When he's hurt, it's a significant drop off. But when he plays and he's good, like this week, he did the same thing what Aaron Donald did last night. He disrupts the offense. He makes big plays. He gets interceptions. He gets fumbles. He just disrupts everything that you do. And so for me, I look at Khalil Mack. I think he's definitely the MVP. But there's one other person that I think that should be recognized as an MVP. I don't think they would get it, but I think should be recognized, and that's Todd Gurley. I think Todd Gurley has had a great season this year. He's averaging 5 yards a carry, which is very hard to do. He's lived up to the hype in terms of like the money, the extension that he's received, and he's lived up to that. And he's been consistent. And he's been consistent. Even last year he was consistent in his play. So, I think that, it's just not – it's taken unnoticed stuff. Yeah. And I think that he should be in the talks in terms of that MVP race. But clear cut, yes, Drew Brees is playing well. This has been a great season of his. But Khalil Mack, man, he's come in, and the Bears went from basically like a mediocre team to a force to be reckoned with in the first place team in their division. So, and that's because of the defense, and that's because of only one player and one player only, Khalil Mack. I'm going with Khalil Mack.
Yeah, obviously it's usually hard for defensive guys to get the attention, but you're right. Consideration should definitely be given in this case. Definitely. I mean, yeah, he has absolutely been the difference between where they were last year, where they are now. They've got something good there cooking in the Windy City. You can see it. And look, if it wasn't for what happened on opening night, they should have won that opening night game against Green Bay. They almost beat the Patriots as well. They've been in every game they've played this year. They have a lot going for them right now, and clearly should win that NFC North. I see no reason why not. Packers are down at the moment. They just proved that clearly they're a better team, the Bears are, than the Vikings based off what we saw last night. They're a team definitely to be reckoned with. Like I said before, I think there's really three teams right now that are really vying for the NFC Championship. I think it's the Bears, I think it's the Rams, and I think it's the Saints. I'd be shocked, Keith, if we don't get the Super Bowl representative from the NFC if it doesn't come out of that trio right there. I'd be shocked.
Yeah.
Based off of what we're seeing performance-wise, right? You said right now they have the Bears have one of the most unstoppable defensive guys in the league in Mack. How do you account for him? Again, we talked about Drew Brees. I think he's the MVP right now, the way he's playing. Mm-hmm. Phenomenal. I mean, in my book right now, no one is playing the quarterback position better. He's even better than what Patrick Mahomes has done this year. So, and then, of course, you have other Rams, which they really, to me, Stu, are the complete team. Yeah. I think top to bottom, and really have it going on all cylinders at the moment. So it's going to be really fascinating to see what ultimately does separate those three teams. And who knows, there could be a wild horse that comes into it, a dark horse type of team. But at the moment, I just don't see it. I think it's really between those three teams. I actually believe in the AFC, it's more so wide open. Believe it or
it's
not,
open.
it's more so wide open.
You don't
because
know
you
who's
have
gonna win.
you're right. You have teams you don't know it, and you have obviously teams who have a history of success, postseason success. New England, Baltimore, if they get in, they have a history of it. A little bit different now. If Lamar Jackson is going to continue to start here down the stretch, we'll have to monitor that. But still, Harbaugh's been there. You know, the majority of those guys, that crew has been intact for a long time. If they sneak in, you don't know. So based off of the history and then you have the history of teams like the Chiefs, who are going to be trying to exercise some playoff demons from the past this year. Pittsburgh as well, who can never beat New England. We talked about that Week 15 matchup. So much just kind of is up in the air in the AFC.
People are sleeping on Houston Texans. Houston Texans have been playing well. They're 7-3 right now, and you got a lot of, like you said, there's a lot of 5-5 teams here right now that you just don't know when they're going to catapult and when they're just going to burst open, when it's going to separate. But I'll say this. Week 13, I think that's when you're going to start seeing people separate from themselves. That's where it's going to happen is Week 13. But, you know, Houston Texans right now, I mean, that's a team you got to watch. They got a defense that's incredible. And, you know,
they've won 7 in a row.
With star power, you know, J.J. Watt, you got a Clown E over there. You just got a lot of players around them. And then you just picked up Demaryius Thomas with DeAndre Hopkins. You know, it just goes.
They're flying high right
now.
Flying.
And that's a tough matchup for anybody. So, you know, they're starting to peak right now, and they're peaking at the right time. And you just go down the list, like you said. Look, the AFC is wide open. I don't have any clear favorites, and I'm not going to say. And the reason I'm not saying I don't have any clear favorites because look. Yes, if Kansas City stays in Arrowhead, I think they'll be the team to beat. But how is Mahomes going to react in a playoff game? Playoff is different than season. Now, right now, what he played tonight was playoff atmosphere, playoff implications, and that was going into a very hostile place, and you saw him how he reacted. And he did a great job in the beginning. In the beginning, he was a little flustered, but he was like that against the New England Patriots as well. A little flustered in the beginning, but he zoned in. He took his time. He relaxed a little bit, and then he started just to open up the floodgates. And that's what's interesting about the Kansas City Chiefs, man, is that you can get up on them, but then they're going to eventually settle in, and then that's when they start to hit you. So the key is really once you see when you get up on them, it's about trying to stay up and not letting them get away from you because they're going to come with a strong wave, and you got to be able to sustain that.
Yeah, for me, it's just with the Chiefs, it's all about defensively. If they can come up with some big stops. Tonight, obviously, that did not happen. Like you said, Keith, it is a totally different ballgame when you get to the postseason. And look, regardless whether it's fair or not, history comes into play for a team a lot of times. If teams have struggled in the postseason to win games, that can kind of rear its ugly head at any moment. So you just don't know, and that's obviously why they just have to play each game out here in the regular season, try and get the best record to ultimately get home field there in the AFC and let the chips fall after that where they may. But, we talked about some of these other teams here as well. In the NFC, actually, going back to the NFC East and Dallas, the Cowboys are a fascinating team right now because they find a way to win these games. They're barely getting by in some of these games. I think I saw earlier today that the combined win-loss record for the teams they've beaten this year is more so 12 games below 500. So the teams they're beating are not that great, but they're finding a way to get it done. And again, this is a year in which the NFC East is obviously down. And now just a huge blow. I think the biggest losers yesterday had to have been the Washington Redskins with Alex Smith and that injury. And, like you talked about there, Keith, they brought in Mark Sanchez. Now, it looks like Colt McCoy is actually going to start for them going forward, and Mark Sanchez is going to be the backup to McCoy. So we'll see how long that lasts. Maybe the roles will be reversed there towards the end because we know obviously Alex Smith is not coming back the rest of this season. So that's a tremendous blow. I would think look for more of Adrian Peterson to get more of the workload there going forward. But just very difficult for the Redskins. Just a very unfortunate series of events there. But yeah, that is going to just be really fascinating because like it's at this point it's like which team can kind of figure it out. And right now it looks like it is Dallas. And I see no reason why not, because I think right now, Keith, in the NFC East, I think the best quarterback is Dak Prescott.
Oh, yeah. I was just about to say, I think the best quarterback. I don't know. That's going to be tough. Carson Wentz is just – the problem with Carson Wentz is that his line is just absolutely
terrible.
It's treacherous. They can't block for him, and he's trying to get the ball out, and it's just frustrating. He's forcing things. And he's got, but he doesn't have time to throw it. He doesn't have time to throw it at all. The time he hikes the ball, they're right in him. So, but right now the issue is that Dak Prescott gets a lot better, has more protection. So with his protection, he's able to see and view and pick his spots. And then you got stuff like Amari Cooper. It's making Jerry Jones look like a genius right now by picking up Amari Cooper, because now they're 3-1 at home. They're still suspect on the road. They're still 2-4 on the road, and that's what they're going to be playing at as away. So, that's within itself. But, Philadelphia, I think they have more – look, I think they have the better shot because they have more talent around them. They have Alshon Jeffries. You got Carson Wentz. These guys have experience. You can't count the champs out. I'm sorry. You just can't. But my thing is this, is they have to do a better job protecting Carson Wentz. If they can protect Carson Wentz, he will deliver the ball in the right spots. And if they can't do that, then yes, I think Dallas Cowboys will have the clear cut and they can be the favorite to win it. But if the offensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles can get it together, then I think Philadelphia can be the team to represent the NFC East.
More Behind the Mic coming up after this.
Hi, this is Peter Tilden. My wife's life, many of our listeners' lives, they feel better, and you could too. Listen to what Dr. Chris Diadamo, the Director of Research at the Center for Integrative Medicine at the University of Maryland School of Medicine, has to say.
If you experience gas, bloating, indigestion, loose stool, or constipation, this is not something that you just have to deal with. But I was actually introduced to Nature and Probiotics for my own personal use. I had been suffering from persistent indigestion, and nothing I had tried had really helped me until I tried Nature and Probiotics. Nature and Probiotics provide sustained relief and greatly improved my quality of life to this day, just as they have for countless people across the world. I'm a real believer in the power of Nature and Probiotics, and as a result, I recommend them to literally everybody. If your probiotic doesn't say Natron on the label, you'll never feel the Natron difference.
Others promise Natron delivers, except no substitute. Go to natron.com or the probiotic cooler section at Whole Foods, Sprouts, or your favorite health food store.
If you have hard water, the Lime Scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate Lime Scale and other water issues like brown staining, bad odors, and lead with HydroCare water products available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to goodclearwater.com. That's goodclearwater.com.
I'm a real person, real voice, and a real face. Even though you can't see it because, radio invisibility. You know what else is super duper real? Geico Local Offices. A Geico local agent could tailor fit a policy to you, which could save you hundreds on your car insurance. All because Geico local agents keep it real, with real savings and real service. Really.
And if you're looking for more ways to save, your local Geico agent could help with your homeowners, condo, and renter's insurance too. Stop by or give them a call today.
You're listening to Behind the Mic with Brad Darius.
Great to have you with us as we roll along here on Behind the Mic on KABC Radio. Let's get into some USC talk now, Keith, and the future of Clay Helton, the future of this USC football program. Disaster on Saturday over at the Rose Bowl. I'm not surprised. We can play back the tape. I said it. I called it Friday night. I didn't think they were going to win this game because what does Chip Kelly do? His teams are able to run the football, and they're able to run it successfully. Joshua Kelly had the game of his life, Keith. It was the most rushing yards a USC team ever gave up to UCLA. They've been playing this rivalry game for over 80 years.
Yeah.
It was horrendous. I just, in all facets of it, I mean, just completely undisciplined. Not a whole much excitement. I mean, just very stale. I mean, there's just nothing there. We've been seeing that all year. And my point at this point, like I'm shocked, just like everyone, that USC has gotten to this point this year, and that we're even discussing Clay Helton potentially being fired, because at the beginning of the season, I really thought we all knew they were going to have a tough time with the new quarterback. It was going to be a little bit of a learning curve. You had to break him in and stuff like that. But for this team to be 5-6 and staring at 5-7, not going to a bowl game, I think it was the perfect storm this year for us to get to this point where Clay Helton potentially could be fired. Why?
Potentially, he is going to get
Should
fired.
be, right. Perfect storm.
Fired. He's fired. He's going to get fired. I think they're trying to wait to the end of the season. They just want to play out the rest of the season, and they just want to wait. But he's gone, Brad. I mean,
he has to be.
It's what it is.
It's perfect storm this year. Look, so here's the thing. Here's how it went down. So basically, you have USC coming into this season. They struggled to win games in one of the worst divisions in one of the worst conferences in the country. They lost to their arch rival in a year where UCLA had one of the worst UCLA teams in recent memory. You combine all that in, you factor all that in, not to mention that they're going to get blown up by Notre Dame coming up here in this regular season finale. That's the perfect storm.
Yeah.
For Clay Helton to ultimately be fired. Can't believe it. No one saw it at the beginning of the season. I mean, nobody. Swan gives him the extensions through 2023. Everything looks to be fine. But really, the bottom line is, like we talked about before here on the show, 5-6, 5-7, a losing season at a big-time college football program, it's just not good enough anymore. Maybe it was good enough 10, 15, 20 years ago to have one of those every once in a while, but not in the era of Nick Saban and Alabama, Keith, where they just reload every year. You think Alabama's having a 5-7 season somewhere squashed in the middle there? Absolutely not. Is Notre Dame having that right now with Brian Kelly? No, none of the big-time schools.
Yeah.
You can't have that. This is USC. This is big-time college football. You can't have it, and that's what happened this year. You can't just look the other way with this. And obviously, the team has been watching all year. You don't even have to watch every game, just in and out of games. They clearly have just been going downhill, and there's no reason to believe, at least in my view, that anything's going to change next year with this current regime. Everyone got to go.
What I'm hearing is that even recruitment that they have is already put a pause.
I'm sure it is
on recruitment as well, because a lot of the kids don't know if he's going to be there next year or not. So what I'm hearing is there's even pause on recruitment right now until they figure out what at the end of the season what they're going to do with Clay Helton, which everybody knows he's going to be gone. I mean, that's the bottom line. He'll be gone because for many reasons there's going to be a lot of in terms of recruitment. A lot of players are not going to go there. They're not very good. They're not a very good team right now. They're not a very good program. And USC knows that, and it's not up to USC's type of stature of what they want in a head coach. And there is many people who are involved with that program who are very upset about what's going on with the football team, as we all know. And so I'm hearing that he's going to be gone. That's at the end of the day.
They have no choice.
And they have no choice.
I don't think they want to do it. I don't think the board wants to try and find a new head coach. I don't think Lynn Swan wants to do it, but they have absolutely no choice. They can't ignore it for what has gone down this year. And like you said, Keith, I mean, the recruiting, people aren't excited. People aren't excited to play at USC now.
No. And they know
Can't
that.
have that.
And they know that, and that has a lot to do with that. Has a lot. It's not, honestly, Brad, it's not just the loss to UCLA.
No, it's cumulative effect
of the season. It's a cumulative effect that happened throughout this whole season, them being ranked and immediately falling out. Now that happens that happens pretty much all the time with teams. Many teams fall in, they fall out, but with USC, they always been the top, and then they fall out, and
you can't miss out on a bowl game.
In the Helton era. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, my God, we've got about like 100 bowl games now, Keith, in 2018.
That's a lot of money.
They're not even going to a bowl game.
Yeah, that's a lot of money they're missing out on, and that's really what it comes down to, is that they're missing a lot. It's a lot of money it's a business, and it's a lot of money that they're going to be missing out on this year, And a lot of people are not happy about it. A lot of people on that campus, a lot of people that are involved in helping that program out financially, they're just not happy. And so you got to keep them happy, right? And so in order to keep them happy, they want to get them out. And I'm sure the fans out there, same thing, feels the same way. But, yeah, I'm hearing he's gone. It's a done deal. It's a wrap. He's gone. So it's going to be interesting to see what they pick up next year.
Yep.
And we'll see what happens.
We talked about this last week, but now has your mind changed at all as far as who you would like to see potentially come in? I know you were a big advocate for, and you probably still are, they should go out of house.
Yeah.
Someone with no USC ties.
No USC ties. They just start fresh. I think it's something new. You know, USC, one thing about USC is what it's funny. My father's always told me, because he's also a USC guy.
Right.
Of course, and played there and stuff. But he's always told me that USC take care of their own. That's what they do. And I start to see, as I grew up, I start to see that happen all the time. You start to see that with their coaches and stuff that come in. Most coaches that coach there, they're USC alums, right?
Yeah.
But I think they need to make a change. I think they need to do something a little different. There's a lot of qualified guys out there, and that they can go after, even in the NFL, and maybe some coordinators, offensive coordinators looking for jobs. And so I think that they need to take a look at that and explore those options. Lynn Swan, you know, him coming in, he's the athletic director. I think he needs to go ahead and say, look, you know, I'm pretty sure he knows some offensive coordinators that know his football career there at USC, and get somebody in there who's really qualified for the job. I'm really a big advocate. I think they need to look outside of USC alums.
There's going to be a whole lot of Notre Dame fans at the Coliseum on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's really just unbelievable how they have to beat Notre Dame to even become bowl eligible. It's not going to happen.
It's not happening.
It's not going to happen.
Knocking Notre Dame out of national championship contentions, that's not
I can't wait to see what the point spread is for this game as the week goes 50. Along here. I mean, this will be an absolute victory lap for the Irish in all likelihood.
Yeah.
Yeah, it again, perfect storm of just a disaster of a season for Clay Helton and this team. And they just need absolutely, I agree, a fresh look. It has gone stale. I mean, really stale. Mm-hmm. There's really just nothing positive. This team doesn't invoke any type of excitement whatsoever. It's easily the worst. This is the worst USC team of the millennium.
You think so?
Is the worst USC. I mean, this is definitely Paul Hackett territory. It's 2000. Obviously, that firing led to the hiring of Pete Carroll, and it's just been an absolute disaster, however you slice it up. And look, again, the fact that they got beat by UCLA, by one of the worst UCLA teams in recent memory, and made no question about it. We'll get into this more with Joe Pachowski on Wednesday.
Oh, well, we
signature victory, victory for Chip Kelly in year one.
Exactly, and you know what? You got a team. Well, UCLA's not going to even be bowl eligible, which is crazy too. But it's that make their season though.
Oh, easily.
It make their season, and
this will the momentum of that win alone will carry over all the way to next season for UCLA.
Exactly. That definitely make their season, and you know what? It's fortunate for USC, the players and the fans, but Helton, to me, he lost the locker room early this year, and I think he lost the locker room early this year, and everybody say he's a great coach, and not taking nothing away from him. He's done some great things with USC with the team that he has in the past, but the past is the past. This is the present, and this team right here, he didn't do a great job with them in terms of preparation for games. There's a lot of things a lot of holes that we saw, a lot of inconsistency, a lot of penalties.
The discipline.
Yeah, the discipline was horrible this year. And if I had to give Helton a grade this year, I gotta give him a D+, man. It just was not good. I'm sorry.
He's apparently one of the nicest guys in college football.
I hear.
That's what I hear too. But it just comes a time that you just have to kind of thank him for what he's done for the school, and they just need to move on. It's going to happen in all likelihood after Saturday's game. Hey, great show tonight. Great start to the week. We are back at it tomorrow night. Same place, same time. For Keith, I'm Brad. Keep living the dream.
Behind the Mic, furnished by Dalius Media.
KABC, Los Angeles, Orange County, a Cumulus station.
Attention all self-employed.